in the next 15-20 years, renewables will reach a point where it will be the lowest cost source of energy for the world. We use a different semiconductor material to manufacture our panels. Took on ourselves to have 50% gender diversity in our workforce, in our manufacturing workforce, which was very different from the gender mix we have globally. Tamil Nadu offers one of the best industrial policies in terms of industry incentives around manufacturing investments. The biggest reason was the positive feedback we got from the investors who are already in the state, that the state of Tamil Nadu has adequate women talent to meet our requirements, both in terms of quality and capacity. I think Tamil Nadu is one of the leading states for manufacturing clean energy technologies, both in wind and solar. You see it because it offers certain natural advantages. It's close to ports, so you can export. You can import raw materials as required and quickly deploy. Besides the fact that it's got a very mature industrial policy and the workforce is very well developed here in the state.
Welcome to the Guidance Podcast, your window into the state's investment landscape, industrial growth, and innovation ecosystem. We explore the latest developments, success stories, and opportunities in Tamil Nadu, with insights from industry leaders, policymakers, and experts shaping the state's future. Welcome to the Guidance Podcast, where we bring you conversation with leaders, change makers, and innovators that shape Tamil Nadu's growth story. I'm your host Ayshwaria Lakshmi, and today our guest is someone who spent decades working across power, water, and renewables, operating at the intersection of global strategy and on-ground execution. Mr. Sujoy Ghosh, Vice President and Country Managing Director of First Solar. He leads one of the country's most advanced solar module manufacturing operations based here in Tamil Nadu. In this episode, we'll talk about what it truly takes to build solar at scale, what role Tamil Nadu has to play, and what the next decade of energy could look like. Welcome to the podcast, Sujoy. You have experience across multiple segments in the energy sector. First with GE, and then now with First Solar close to 14 years. Take us to the journey that led you to First Solar, and what made you choose renewables as your career?
When I was working for GE in my past, I was running the thermal side of their business. Around, let's say, 2006, 2007, India started to slowly ramp up on renewables, starting with wind as the renewable energy technology. A lot of it happened in this state of Tamil Nadu in the early days of the industry build-out. And GE had wind turbine equipment as part of their portfolio. So we looked at the long-term market for wind and the growth of renewables, and decided to invest and build wind turbine assembly capacities in the country. And that's how we started off with GE Wind, or GE's wind business, as part of the power generation business. And since I was running the conventional power side of things, the company decided to allocate the additional responsibility to me for also the wind. And that was my first engagement with the renewable sector. After that, in 2012, when I joined First Solar, wind by that time had started to mature with a combination of government policies which encouraged people to invest in wind turbine assets and take depreciation benefits. Plus the fact that that was an era where there was a shortage of electricity in the country, and a lot of industries were investing and building their own wind farms, especially in Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, to power their factories. And the renewable attributes were a bonus, in addition to the fact that they were actually getting power. So that in that time frame, the government of India had announced the solar mission, the national solar mission, in 2010, when they felt that solar is the second renewable source which the country would like to deploy. And there was a talk of doing 10,000 megawatts of solar by 2017. So in 7 years, the solar mission was supposed to deploy 10,000 megawatts. Again, the government had to introduce certain regulations which mandated the distribution companies to acquire renewable energy as part of their overall portfolio. Most of the distribution companies, which are the primary consumer in India, were buying coal power and selling coal power to the consumers like you and me. And the government introduced a concept of renewable purchase obligations, through which entities were mandated to acquire certain part of their portfolio from renewable sources. And that's how the solar industry started off in India in 2011. Basically, First Solar set up their a sales office here in 2011, and determined that they need full-time resources on the ground, because they believed that the Indian market would take off, given that it's got a good combination of a good solar resource, a need for energy, and supporting policies from the federal government to regulate and mandate use of solar electricity. And that was the time when I joined First Solar in 2012 to then kickstart their office and their business in India.
Okay. And why did you choose to get into solar and renewables?
So generally, the obvious answer is that you're trying to save the planet by trying to get more energy sources which do not add to the carbon emissions deployed in your home country or in your market. But besides that, I felt renewables would be the future of energy, not simply because of its renewable attributes, but because of its economic attributes. Energy is a commodity. All of us want energy to be cheaper for us as consumers. You and me would like our energy bill to be the lowest every time petrol, diesel prices go up. We have to rethink through what are we going to save and what are we going to drop to run our households. And so I believe that in the next 15, 20 years, renewables will reach a point where it will be the lowest cost source of energy for the world. And once you reach that point, then the growth of that sector is inevitable, right? And I think solar and wind have reached a point today where in India they are lower to generate as compared to coal power, even on the marginal cost of coal, right? And that's how you see India is transitioning into more renewable sources. Renewables are the center of India's energy strategy now, simply because of economics. And yes, the low carbon attributes are an added benefit to the overall renewable story.
At First Solar, how do you differentiate your approach from other solar players in the market?
First Solar is a company which is very differentiated from the rest of the solar industry, solar manufacturing industry. We use a different semiconductor material to manufacture our panels. We use a completely different production process to make our modules. And our modules deliver a differentiated performance to the user, to the consumer, especially if the panels are installed between the two tropics, where the climate is hot and at a lot of places it's humid. So First Solar modules perform better under hot and humid conditions as compared to other commercially available solar technologies. Our production process is very tightly integrated, and the capital investment to produce First Solar modules is a lot less as compared to equivalent end-to-end value chain production of alternate silicon technology modules. And so these differentiations then help us to kind of deliver more value to our customers, especially long-term asset owners who value the life cycle cost of ownership of a power generating asset.
We are here at Fasola's facility in Sri Pembattur. And what made Tamil Nadu the right option for you to invest in?
So once we zeroed in on India as a market where we would like to expand our production footprint because of the size of the market, the policies from the central government around offering incentives, as well as most importantly a level playing field for domestic industry as compared to imports. We then looked at where do we set up the factory, and we had 3 or 4 very critical criteria. We needed to be near a major seaport. We also needed to be near a large urban center because the workforce we'll employ would need a vibrant social infrastructure and an ecosystem to stay. Schools, hospitals, entertainment, all of that. We also looked at state policies in terms of state industrial policies and what kind of incentives and benefits they offer. And then we looked at 2 things. We looked at reliability of the power and water, which are 2 critical ingredients for us to manufacture our modules. Tamil Nadu offered us all of this. In addition to, obviously Chennai and the area near Chennai, we have access to 3 major seaports. The city of Chennai offers that well-developed, mature social infrastructure where the talent we pull in can live and thrive. Tamil Nadu offers one of the best industrial policies in terms of industry incentives around manufacturing investments, and not only the incentives, but the investor facilitation which the government of Tamil Nadu set up through guidance. The single window process of securing all your permits in a finite time through mostly a faceless approach was unique, and it kind of mitigated one of our biggest risks which we had as a foreign investor investing a fairly large sum of capital in India, was the risk of permitting. You require about 35 to 40 different permits to build a factory and start an industry. And our concern was red tapeism. Our concern was the difficulty in doing business, managing multiple government agencies. And when we looked at the single window approach which was showcased to us, we felt it mitigated one of our largest risks in terms of building a facility on time, within budget, and getting the factory up and running. The quality of infrastructure in the state is great. We have excellent water available to us through the recycled sewage from the Chennai city, available at our doorstep through a pipe, so we don't have to depend on trucks to pull in water from groundwater, water wells. The electricity connection which we got from the government of Tamil Nadu at a high voltage point was also extremely reliable. And over the last 3 years, we have no major power outages. We've ridden through 2 cyclones in our very short journey in the state, but thankfully the infrastructure has held to what it was committed. And I think those were all the reasons we zeroed in on Tamil Nadu. But the biggest reason was the positive feedback we got from the investors who are already in the state. So we did a due diligence of talking to other manufacturing companies who had an experience of being in the state, and they all gave a thumbs up sign. And I think that's a good bellwether for a prospective investor to come in and hear positive things about the state and the environment from people who've already put in their money and employed people. So I think that to us was the single biggest factor why we invested in Tamil Nadu.
And how long have you been here in Chennai and Sri Pembattur?
We got this land in 2021 from the government of Tamil Nadu, and we started construction the same year, and we were operational in middle of 2023 calendar year. So this factory is kind of, from an operation standpoint, it's more than 2.5 years. But we've been present in the state for 4 years now.
And you
Personally, yeah.
personally,
We
four
moved
years.
from, I moved from Delhi. Some of our people moved from other cities because once we set up this investment, this was going to be our center of operations in India. And we all came here to make sure we hire the right talent, spend the money on time wisely, and make sure that the project comes up on time.
Okay. In your career journey, is which assumption do you think in your earlier days that actually proved you wrong?
Which assumption proved me wrong? Um, I think the one assumption which always proves me wrong is that policies are consistent. When I look at my experience of working in India, the one thing which is always we've got wrong is government policies, because they have a mind of their own. They keep changing, and that's a volatility which we need to recognize. The other factor was proved, which I felt proved me wrong, was that technology disruption takes a lot of time to happen. And my career was spent mostly in the conventional power side, where technology is very mature, very stable. Boilers, steam turbines have not changed for the last 50 years. Dramatic changes have not happened in the technology. And when I came into renewables, the technology disruption has happened so fast. And it's kind of reshaped the whole power sector and the energy markets. So, those are things which we got wrong. That's the speed at which technology can disrupt a particular business model.
Can you tell us the transition, from being in GE to the leadership position that you are in, that transition that meant the transition into renewables as well. Can you tell us your experience in that transition, what it was like?
Well, personally, for me, as you move through your career, you move from roles which are more individual contributor roles, where you're just doing things on your own, to building teams, and more managing outcomes, more people leader roles. And after we made this investment in Tamil Nadu, I think personally for me, I got an opportunity to hire 1,000 people, plus or minus a few here and there. And just the sheer cycle through which we went through in terms of acquiring the talent, to me was both a learning experience and an enriching experience at the end of the day. To just see young talent come in from mostly from the state, and go through the learning curve and start delivering output on a shop floor. The transition, just observing the transition in people, and a lot of our employees are women. Just observing how young female talent from the state just match shoulder to shoulder with both in terms of capacity, capability, and delivery, was an amazing experience. And I think so, to me personally, that's been one of the best experiences I have lived through.
Some of your challenges or rewards you think that stayed with you?
The one challenge which stays through us always, and especially in positions where we are running platforms like this, is surely the external volatility. Right, we live in an extremely volatile world, both from a policy standpoint, from geopolitical standpoint. Energy and geopolitics are deeply intertwined today, especially the clean energy sector, simply because of the fact that China has monopolized supply chains, and that's caused its own repercussions and reactions in the world. We see a realignment of supply chains happening. We see people moving from lowest cost product to least disruptive product from a trade and transport standpoint, and that's driving very different discussions around where do you set up production, what kind of people do you hire, and what kind of skilling programs you go through. Right now, we're also seeing early stages of AI, which is beginning to shape our destiny. Manufacturers like us would always like to drive productivity levels. We would like to drive automation levels. And given that we have a good baseline automation in this factory, now we are looking at what do we do with all that data? How do we drive further optimization and productivity? And that's going to drive the changes in the way we think about things which we take for granted today. And to me, that's something which is a risk, because business models can disrupt very quickly, and what you take for granted today can be history tomorrow.
What is that one decision that you took, if it was not in a purview of US or the European unit, but an Indian unit, that approvals would not have gone through? Or the very challenging decision that First Solar India you took at First Solar India?
Well, one of the, I won't say challenging. I think we are a fully consolidated, fully owned subsidiary of our parent entity. So whatever decisions we take go through a certain approval process for us and are approved at the highest levels in our organization. Having said that, when we decided to invest 5,600 crores into India, one of the things was that how do we plan our talent? And one of the things we did very differently in India was that we took on ourselves to have 50% gender diversity in our workforce, in our manufacturing workforce, which was very different from the gender mix we have globally, right? And our board welcomed the thought. We were starting on a clean slate here, and we took it upon ourselves to demonstrate that the state of Tamil Nadu has adequate women talent to meet our requirements, both in terms of quality and capacity. But having taken that decision, implementing it was more challenging because we had to, sensitize the people who were the hiring managers around the fact that yes, we're going to have a gender diverse workforce. Yes, we will have more women. So what do we do differently in this factory as compared to the way we've run other factories? To give you one example, we've never thought about building a creche in any other First Solar manufacturing facility. What's different in this facility is we've got a creche, and we're very happy that people are using the creche. Right, it's for babies from 6 months to 5 years, and we didn't want our women employees whom we hire to have a career disruption just because they had a child. So this is just an example of how we had to think differently, and then just managing that, getting that approved, because we're doing something which was different from the way we've been used to doing things, was not a challenge, but I would say it was a learning curve for both sides, both for us in India and also for our team in the headquarters.
Tamil Nadu is one of the leaders in the renewable energy sector. And how do you see the state playing its role in the broader energy industry?
So I'd say on two levels. One is as a state which deploys renewable assets. Tamil Nadu is blessed with both good wind and good solar resources. So it's a natural state for greening its electricity sector. There is a lot of capacity today. Now, on the manufacturing side, I think Tamil Nadu is one of the leading states for manufacturing clean energy technologies, both in wind and solar. You see it because it offers certain natural advantages. It's close to ports, so you can export if you are producing products which you are exporting to other markets. You can import raw materials as required and quickly deploy. Besides the fact that it's got a very mature industrial policy and a very mature industrial environment, so you can find people, you can find equipment and repair workshops, you can find land for building factories. And the workforce is very well developed here in the state. So very good on manufacturing. I would say, as India looks at domesticating its clean energy and clean energy technologies, Tamil Nadu is one of the states which should acquire a lot of that investment because it offers unique advantages as compared to a lot of other states. However, on the renewable energy consumption front, we would expect the government to do a bit more than what they've done over the last 4 years.
In the next couple of years, what are some of the trends and technologies that you are looking out for?
In solar, well, in solar, obviously people are focused on evolving to higher efficiency modules as the immediate next steps. Increasing the throughput of their manufacturing facilities with more automation as factories scale. Solar module manufacturing is analogous to semiconductor manufacturing. So as you scale, and you have to scale to get to competitive cost positions, you have to run these factories with very high degree of automation. So more Industry 4.0, Industry 5.0, AI, data-driven manufacturing. We see that happening on the manufacturing side. On the technology side, we see increasing module efficiencies as the first step. But what's on the horizon is people experimenting with different kind of materials. So we have a lot of organic chemicals which are widely available, and you can we call them perovskites, and these perovskites can be utilized to make solar panels. The performance and the costs could be disruptive. India is one of the few countries where the academia is already creating experimental devices using this next generation of photovoltaic materials called perovskites, and we see that over the next 3, 4, 5 years to start getting into early stages of commercialization.
And this technology that you're talking about, what opportunity does it give for the upcoming generation? What kind of skill sets do you think that they should be building?
I think, broadly speaking, about manufacturing and high volume manufacturing in semiconductors, clean tech, electric vehicles, factories are going to be automated. Factories are going to be, using robots. The skill sets which we expect from the students is more multidisciplinary. So we need people who would understand, mechanical, automation, and then you combine them and make them as mechatronics. Or you need people who understand, chemicals and physics together, because to create a semiconductor device, you need chemistry and you need physics both, right? So I think, and we've had discussions with academia in the past that the curriculum, and especially if we are to create a talent pool which can support the whole manufacturing-driven growth which the country is witnessing right now, as opposed to a service-driven economy, you need shop floor ready talent. And today's shop floor ready talent is not about grease and oil and lifting loads. This is the talent we need, is people who can operate robots, who can do programming, but at the same time they're familiar with a bit of physics, a bit of material sciences, and a bit of environmental and all of that. So more multidisciplinary skills, more automation, more robotics is what we need.
You've been in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, for over 4 years. What is your weekend activity like?
Half the time I'm traveling. But if I am not, most of my weekends are spent at home cooking because my cook is on holiday on the weekend. So it's just a time to unwind, I think, nothing specific on weekends. Catch a movie, maybe. Learning Tamil.
How far are you?
Very far. Still in a very early learning curve. But I figured that you have to learn the local language too. To get around here, so it's not it's something I'm doing by choice.
You told us the trend and the technology in the solar segment that you are closely looking at. What trend or technology the state should be closely monitoring?
So, from a state point of view, I think state should remain technology agnostic. The state, as a consumer of electricity and supplying electricity to people like you and me and to the industry, should focus on how do we green the electricity sector, how do we supply more green energy, and create regulatory frameworks around it, because electricity is a regulated topic, right? So the state should focus on enabling people like you and me as individual retail consumers or industries to have access to renewable energy, more access to renewable energy right now. So that's the first. And whether it comes from solar, it comes from wind, it comes from hydro, it should be more low carbon sources. Because not just because you're trying to reduce the carbon footprint in the country, but as Tamil Nadu looks at export, and Tamil Nadu is perhaps the second largest exporter state in the country today. A lot of our products which we make in the state are exported out. Globally, the world is looking at carbon footprint in your product, right? So whether it's metals to clothes to footwear, you're looking at the consumers are looking at how much input carbon, how much water, how much was there forced labor, which went into manufacturing of these goods. And so as we build an ecosystem where we are looking at being an exporter to other markets, for the industry, for the consumers to have access to green energy is extremely important, undiscriminatory access. And I think the state has to have enabling regulations to support the greening of the industry.
Bit more on your leadership roles. What are the key principles that you always keep intact when you are making decisions in a global level or in a domestic local supplier level? What are the key principles?
So the first thing we always pride ourselves in is to play by the rules. So we run our business in a highly ethical manner. We also run our business in a very transparent manner. So there's complete transparency on what we produce, whether it's to the government, whether it's to our shareholders, whether it's to our financiers, and whether it's to our customers, right? Transparency on production, transparency on quality, transparency on people. So I think for us, what we value highest is ethics and governance. And we bring that to our table in all aspects of decision making, right? After that, what we look at is essentially we look at any investment and any decision in a framework where we balance out growth, liquidity, and profitability, right? We don't want to be in a business where you're overtly reliant on one of the three and you compromise the other two. So whatever decisions we make has to balance out between these three core criteria. So it's not growth for growth's sake. The growth has to be profitable, and we need to have liquidity because we want to pay our bills, we want to pay our salaries on time. And so for us, any investment decision we make, after it passes the ethics and governance gate, is how do we balance these three parameters and run our company.
So what's next for solar?
Well, we've just started our journey in the state and the country. The first thing for us is to make sure that we run our factories, run the current investment, in a sustainable manner, both from an environmental sustainability and a financial sustainability standpoint. For us, critical is that we localize our supply chain. Solar manufacturing is a lot about components, pretty much similar to the auto industry. And so we are trying to see that we source more from India to make in India and sell in India, right? As we set up our factory, we were transitioning from our global supply chain to creating more vendors here and localizing our supply chain. So we'll get to that. And that's our near-term priority. And after that, we'll look at how the market performs, what kind of policies come in to encourage more renewables before we decide what's next.
Okay. There's a very quick, like a rapid fire session that I have. Just I'll give you a few just a sentence, and you'll have to answer me. Just pick one of
Okay,
them.
okay,
This is very quick.
okay.
Next 5 years in India, utility scale solar or rooftop, which grows faster?
Growth-wise, rooftop will grow faster because it's starting from a smaller base.
Does market move toward greater technology diversity or silicon-led consolidation?
It'll move towards more technology diversity, given that there is a lot of technology bets on the horizon.
Movies or books?
Movies.
Which single solar technology shift could change project economics next?
It's basically perovskites material from a material standpoint, and how are those? If that technology scales up, it will disrupt the project economics.
Tamil Nadu in 5 years, a manufacturing base or an innovation and R&D hub?
I would say manufacturing base.
Sorry, India's deployment module, larger solar parks or distributed solar?
It'll be a combination of both. I think historically it was always larger solar parks, but distributed is now coming into the market. So there'll be a mix of both.
Thank you so much, Sujoy. This was a fun conversation with
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for taking us through the First Solar journey and also the solar module journey in Tamil Nadu. We will keep looking out for each other.
Thank you.